Hey everybody, Bones here, Bones Garage, just bringing you an update what's going on at the garage. So, 1963 Ford Thunderbird, we have the heads off, we have the intake manifold off, and we are ready to send everything out to the machine shop to get it all checked out. Everything's got to get checked. So we're gonna have them check everything, make sure all of the exhaust ports are nice and flat, make sure the surface area, which is on the bench right now, the surface area down there is nice and flat and clean. And one of the things, let me put this down and I will show you the bottom side. Hang on, be right back. So we're back, and you can see it's a relatively clean interior. It does have some oil in there. So probably what we're gonna do is when we're gonna pull all the valve springs off and replace all the seals, the valve stem seals. Just put new ones in just to keep everything nice. Maybe it will stop some of the oil from getting in. Probably can use a head job, but the car again isn't used a ton. He drives it a few times a year and that's about it. So we're gonna get the heads all cleaned up. We're gonna get all the both the rocker shafts cleaned. We're gonna get the oil control pans cleaned for the heads. But one of the things I wanted to show you is look at all of the exhaust leaks. See all that black right there? The cylinder port should look, what's a clean one? There's a nice clean one. See how nice and clean the outside of the port is? And then from here in, you have carbon, and from here out, it's just plain steel. It should not look like this. Carbon all the way around. This cylinder was leaking, this exhaust manifold for this cylinder was leaking really bad. Another thing I wanted to show you is the head gasket. Now they used a steel head gasket back then, but if you look closely, see this section right here, how nice and defined everything is? See this section? Well, this head gasket was about to go. This head gasket was going to blow through and then start leaking from cylinder to cylinder, which would have caused a really rough idle. I also need to show you, see right there? Yeah, that is one of the water jackets. There's a little restrictor hole, and this is a water jacket on top of the motor. This is supposed to be sealed to make sure that the water goes to the other side of the motor as well. And then they have this little restrictor right there. This is open on this side, and the same thing on this head if you look at it. Okay, see how it's all sealed up? Well, it was all sealed up. This one is doing the same thing, and it's just starting right there. You can see a couple of little holes, and then there's the restrictor, and that's what keeps the heads, the water flowing all the way through and to the other side of the motor. Keeps it pressurized, keeps everything flowing nicely, keeping the heads cool. So yeah, you can see how many exhaust leaks were on this car and why it was running rough at idle, and you can feel it running rough at speed. And then we also ended up having to heat almost all the bolts up to get them out. This is the reasons we try and do things the way we do them, because there was no way we were going to get to these lower bolts in the car with the shock towers in the way. There is no way you can do it. And if you remember, I could just barely fit my fingers between that exhaust manifold and the shock tower right here. So there was no way I was getting a torch in there without ruining all the paint on the shock tower. That's why we took the heads off at the top of the motor. Sometimes some of these jobs seem like they're going to be easy and quick, and they're not. And this is your heat shield, or what's left of the heat shield, which is also the gasket for the heat, for the exhaust manifolds. This used to sit inside of there. And this used to sit right over here. So that's the way they used to be. Now they are not. Now they are all bad. So that's what the car was taken apart for, to get all this taken care of. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to have the machine shop mill the heads. We're going to do all the valve work on it, you know, taking the valves out, taking the springs out, putting new seals in there. But they're going to do the heads. We have a brand new set of exhaust manifolds that we're going to put on here, new gaskets. Everything is going to be brand new, including the head gaskets, the intake manifold gaskets, the China rail gaskets, all going to be nice and new. So there you go, guys. A little bit of a long video, but I just had a lot of explaining to do. Look at all the carbon. See, we'll clean all this up. This is all just carbon deposits, burnt up oil. And a new car today, if you were ever, this is the death sentence of a new car. These old cars, I've pulled valve covers off, and the inside of the valve cover was so caked with carbon that all there was room for was the rockers to go up and down. It was just, when you took the valve cover off, it looked like the valve cover was still there. That's how much carbon was built, and the cars would still run. Today's cars, you get this much carbon in there, and that car is done. That car is going to be, every screen, every microfiber, every micro screen in there will be caked with carbon, which will do all kinds of havoc and confusion to the computer and to everything else, and that car will just be done. So there you go. Love the oldies. Have fun. Okay, bye.